Hello, welcome back.
Yay.
We have a lovely guest here today, Summer.
1 year
Hello.
later. 1 year later.
Hello. 365 days to almost the day, to be honest.
Crazy, eh?
Yeah.
And like the things you have done in those 365 days, girl, you have been busy.
I haven't done. It's on my brain. I'm like, what have I done? Really not much. That's what it feels like. But we're here. We're living. We're a very different season, that's for sure.
It's true. I mean, a year ago when we talked, you were like, I just quit my job. What am I going to do? I have all these dreams, but I don't know.
I didn't even know.
And here we are.
I feel like I didn't even have dreams. I was like just kind of doing exactly what I was already doing, just without the stress of having to go into a serving job. But yeah, my day-to-day life looks very different. My priorities are very different. So I'm excited to be here though. Let's catch up.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you.
Mhm.
You were our very first guest,
I
so
know.
you're
Yeah, actually.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, shit.
And in the words of my brother, the best podcast episode that we've ever had. And I said, tell me more. Why? And he said, because I like when you talk to other people instead of talk about yourself. And I said, that's news to me because I actually am not on a podcast to talk about anyone other than myself on the regular.
That's why, yeah.
But thanks.
And then I come on and I feel like all I'm doing is talking about myself, and then I feel weird because I want you guys to talk about yourself. But you're like, no, Summer, that's why you're here.
Yeah, that is
No,
why you're
literally.
here. Yeah.
No, I do love yapping, but I also love when other people yap so that I don't feel like I'm just taking up so much space. But that's probably my
No,
own
take up
opinion.
space. Take up space.
Take up all the space.
Yeah. We can sit like men too. Like we can man spread.
I sit like a child in daycare. My legs are like up on a chair, crossed.
Oh my god, I wish.
That's funny.
My favorite.
One day soon. One day soon.
Yeah. Wait till you're old. You'll be like, oh, does my knee bend that way anymore?
No, it doesn't.
Or it gets stuck in that position.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yesterday I was on the floor with my baby niece and my sister-in-law was like, okay, I'll take her now. And I tried to get up and I was like, it took me like a few tries. I was like, okay, body, what is happening?
Okay, work with me.
How, like, what supplements do I got to take to not do this?
Yeah, I love having that one. Oh, my mom, every time she gets up on the couch, it's this whole thing. She has bad knees, and she literally gets up like a 95-year-old person and just waddles for like probably a solid 2 minutes. And it's like no fail every single time. She's like, frick. And then she keeps going. And now I'm doing that though. So I'm like,
No, if there was ever a reason to do your like warm up and cool down properly and like conditioning
strengthen
and yes, all the like we don't need cardio, we need everything else.
everything but that.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Age with grace, hopefully.
That's
Yeah, literally. It's all in your head though, kind of. Like age is a number.
say that
It
until
is
your body gets older, Kristen. Let me tell you.
It's in your head until it's in your body. And
Yeah.
then
But like you got to keep doing the things like you're still young to keep yourself young. Like I'm not saying don't take care of yourself, but I'm just saying to your point, continue working out.
I'm doing my
And
best
doing all
over
the
here.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah, what else do you want?
Oh, it's hot over here.
So let's go back over the year, see what you've been up to. Last time we spoke, yeah, you were in Mexico
I
with
was
Nathan,
Mm-hmm.
there right now, womp womp. But
right?
yeah, no, it was a crazy year. I feel like it was, that book by Brianna Weiss or whatever her name is, and it's called The Pivot Year. I swear last year was my pivot year.
We love a rebrand. We love a pivot. That's what we're about here.
It was definitely multiple pivots. Like all I have is like Ross from Friends in the back of my head being like, pivot. Like that was me every probably 6 weeks of 2025. So it was quite exhausting. But yeah, the year started like, from the last episode, I quit my job. I was just trying to pursue online coaching full time and content creation. We went to Mexico, shot this episode, not this episode, that episode. And yeah, when we got back, our life kind of just shit the sheets.
God, yes. I forgot.
And what felt like such a high kind of came down crashing as like what felt like one of the lowest points of my mental health and stress last year was our lease was up and no one in Toronto wanted to let us live anywhere. So we basically got rejected by like almost 10 apartments. We got outbid. It was just an extremely stressful time. Like, I don't know how anyone buys a house, aka Kristen, because I don't have it in me. I don't have it in
Even
me.
has a house too.
I bought a house in last year.
Oh, sorry.
There was so many
It's not-
times I was like, pull the plug. I don't want it.
Like you're just this the whole time and like it's on someone else's. I don't do well with other people controlling my life. Not good at that. So our real estate agent at the time, like I just felt like he tried his best. I don't want to like kind of shit on him, but I just felt like every time I talked about him to somebody, everyone was like, it's a him problem. I do think at the time, like I had just recently quit my job. So on paper, I looked poor. And Nathan had quit his job 8 months prior. So on paper, he also looked poor. And, you know, our very last apartment that we looked at, we had to move, I think, a week later, maybe 2 weeks later.
That's insane.
It was the most
even.
beautiful apartment I ever stepped foot in. I literally have a video on my phone being like, this is our apartment. I know it. Like I went into it and I was like, no, this is why all the ones haven't worked out. It's going to be this one. It was stunning. It was in a great location. It was a little bit more expensive than we wanted to pay, but the size of it was just, it was almost 1,200 square feet. It had a huge, beautiful kitchen, unobstructed view. It was only a 1 bedroom, but our living room was so big that you could have had something for other people to stay over. There was a dining, it checked all the boxes, except the landlord I think was a bit odd because in the lease agreement, he had said that it was okay for him to put cameras in the unit, which is highly illegal.
That's crazy.
We definitely said no to that. And then we offered 6 months rent. We offered a cosigner. We offered to give him more than asking by $400 a month. And we still got a big fat no.
Wow.
That made me spiral a little bit. I'm not going to lie, at the time, I had just recently started going to church. And I'm not going to lie to you, like that was probably the only thing that kept me quite sane, was having that community and having just something to talk to that just felt like I didn't have to hold all of this anxiety on my own. And obviously I had Nathan, but he was going through it too. We both were having this kind of like, what do we do? And where do we go? And do we just get a crappy 1 bedroom where we're going to be on top of each other and not happy, but it's what we need to do in order, you know, just to stay in Toronto. We didn't have a car. We literally didn't really have options when it came to staying on our own. However, I'm very grateful. Like Nathan's parents live in Mississauga. That could have been an option, but it was extremely short term. Their house is quite full. His brother still lives there. Their parents work from home. So it was really a bit claustrophobic. And I did not want to interrupt in their life, and especially doing content full time. Like I would not have felt comfortable to film or like take up their space. Like it just wasn't good for anyone, and I knew that wasn't something that they wanted long term either, and I didn't want to have the pressure of an expiry when we still didn't really know what we were doing. Another option was to live 2.5 hours away from the city on the opposite direction, live at his cottage if that was an option in the middle of nowhere. His parents said no. So the last option was my parents, which are 2 hours in the country away from Toronto. There's nothing there, which meant we had to get a car. So we got a car in a week because we worked at Kia and somehow they gave us whatever. And yeah, after that, it was like a week. We moved to my parents. We moved our whole life, quick, boom, bang. And we were living at my parents again at 29 and 33. And it wasn't ideal. I think for me, it was more comfortable because it was my own family. So it wasn't something that I ever felt like I'm ever intruding. My parents are amazing. And they've always said, like, I don't care how old you are or what you need. Like, if you need a place to stay, you always have a home here. And gratefully, the layout of our house was a lot better than his parents' house. Like, we have the whole basement to ourselves. I have my own bathroom. Our room is quite a decent size. So it was like we had our own living room. Like, it was basically that, but you're still completely uprooting your life. Like, regardless if you know, we don't have rent, yay, but we just had to leave everything that I just quite literally built for myself over the last year and a half of living in Toronto. So I just felt like, holy shit, again, we're having to rebuild a life. And like, I had just done that for all of my 20s. So it was not something I really wanted to enter my 30s doing, you know, again. But what felt like a huge setback and like in the moment, like a really heavy time, it was something that I switched my mind very easily and very quickly to be like extremely grateful because, like I said, I was so all over the place in my 20s. Family has always been so important, but my actions didn't always align with that when I was younger. I always prioritized meeting new people, friends, events, spontaneity over like quality time with my family. And living out west for 3 years and not being able to see them really maybe once a year wasn't something that I ever thought I would care about, but it really made me realize the importance of family and how we don't always get that time with our family, like that much immersed quality time. And so instead of kind of thinking about it as like, this sucks, I'm living with my parents and in the middle of nowhere, it was like, when will I ever get this time back with them? I got to see every birthday, and I got to see my nieces and nephews way more frequently and spend actually days with them versus 3 hours and then drive back to the city. And I got to see my Nana for the first time in 2 years and actually celebrate her birthday and not miss it. And we traveled a lot back to the city. Like, our car literally said, you've been in the car for what's equivalent of 2 weeks of your life. So it was an extremely shitty thing on our bodies and just our time and our gas and our car. We were going there almost every week for work. So it was a huge commute. Like, 2 hours is a huge chunk. But yeah, that kind of brought us to being able to start our business and start a business together. That time and financial break allowed us to actually dream a little bit bigger than when we were in Toronto, and we were just kind of going through the motions and surviving and doing like the bare minimum when it came to what we're capable of building. So there's so many pluses. What felt, like I said, like shit, like shit hitting the fan was really just, as cheesy as it's going to say, like manure that was kind of, growing the plants, planting the seeds and things like that. So that
sometimes you just need that though.
Yeah.
Like, you need that, like, step back, it takes the pressure off, it cleans the slate, and then you're starting from ground zero without like running and running and running. Like, if you stayed in the city, right, just trying to keep up, it's just like, okay, let's just take a breather, hit the reset button, and then rebuild from there. And sometimes that's exactly what's needed. I like the mindset reframe, and it gave you the space to be able to do that.
Well, I feel like everything in life is like that though. Like, immediately you react, I feel like, in a negative way when things don't go the way you expect them to.
For sure. Yeah.
That quick refresh. And I do think, like, I always have been like that to an extent, maybe not that quickly. Because don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean I didn't cry, and it doesn't mean I wasn't crying anything almost every day. But I do think, like, when I go back to it, not to make this all about God or anything like that, but just being able to like have something to know, like, something better is out there for us. Like, and I've said that when I didn't really think of God that much, and I would call it the universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever your guiding light is that takes that weight from you. I think really just like tuning into that side of yourself really makes you not feel like you have to carry all this shit that sticks to us in this world, especially with everything going on all the time now. It just feels like it's always. I think finding whatever can guide you to find that perspective switch is what's going to keep you afloat and keep you from kind of falling off course a lot longer than you should. And luckily, yeah, like, it wasn't an easy thing for our relationship either. Living with your parents in their basement isn't necessarily an aphrodisiac by any means, but like,
it's not hot.
Like, that sexy. My parents' room was literally directly above us. We could hear them snoring through the floor. So like,
I was gonna say, I'm sure they felt the same.
Specifically, but we made it through, and I think it definitely made our relationship stronger. And I remember saying to Nathan, I know this is not what you want, and I know, but I need it for myself, because I quit my job. I wasn't making the money I used to be making, and I just realized that when everything was kind of not going our way, I was like, what is this trying to tell us? Like, I feel like we're trying to force ourselves to stay on this path that might not be serving us anymore. And I was like, maybe we're supposed to save money right now. Maybe we're supposed to just unplug and get out of the city for a minute. Like, maybe we're supposed to take a beat. And that's literally exactly what happened. It was necessary for us to think better. And like you said, Kristen, like, think more clearly. That kind of brought us to Collingwood, which is now where we live, which is so random. And so like pivot.
Such a nice area though too.
Yeah.
Like, it worked out.
Beautiful. It is beautiful, but we needed space. We're starting a product-based business, which we can go into after, but we needed space. We didn't need a 1-bedroom that was going to cost us an arm and a leg. So we found a 4-bedroom house that has enough square footage to grow a business in, and has things that, like, again, it's not so small town that you feel like isolated where my parents live. It was a happy medium. Even though they're still commuting, still an hour and a half to the city, and we do that still quite frequently, it is really nice to have space. Like, Nathan and I now both work from home. I have my own office. We have an upstairs. He has his own office, and we can kind of just like have our own space. And I think going into the relationship side of things, like living together, working together, working from home, like there's no break to miss each other. There's no air that you're not breathing at the same time. So it is really nice for our like individuality to like be able, I can leave the house and walk to a coffee shop if I want to spend the day there, and he can work here, and vice versa. So that's kind of where we are now. That's where we call home for now.
Love it. And your place is gorgeous. Like, it worked out too. Like, that It's a townhouse, right?
It's like a semi-detached, so it's like 2 units side by side. They're attached by a wall.
Okay.
But yeah,
Which
it's
would have been a fortune in Toronto.
Oh my God.
oh,
When you gave me the tour, I was like, damn,
not
stunning,
even.
gorgeous, perfect for content.
I don't even think like that's what I'm saying. Like we are spending on rent what we were willing to pay for a 1 bedroom apartment that was 600 square feet. This is a 4 bedroom
Mm-hmm.
house that's almost 3,000 square feet with a garage
Yeah.
and a backyard. So it was like
Yeah.
props to the garage. I've never felt so much more privilege in my life than having a garage to a Canadian winter.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think I could go without it. And that's such a privilege thing to say, but I mean it. Get a
Yeah.
garage. Get a garage.
Okay,
You will
wait.
hate
Straight
the
up.
winter
Do you keep
a
your
lot
car
less.
in the garage or use it for storage? Because that
No,
car, okay. That can be a
we have
thing
way too many. We
too.
don't have things. Like this is the thing. We moved into a huge, gigantic house. We have like nothing. Like we had barely a U-Haul. We had no furniture.
Yeah.
We had one
I
bed.
love that feeling. I still remember that when we bought our first
Yeah.
house and moving in, and we like had nothing. We even like put our bed in the spare room. We ended up buying a new mattress but couldn't afford a bed frame. We had our mattress on the floor for like, I don't know, at least 6 months, maybe longer, but it was like, I don't know, embracing that is like so fun sometimes. And
Yeah,
then
our
slowly building up from there.
we literally like thrifted 90% of our stuff. And if
Mhm.
not, we did content for free for it. Like our dining room table, we got from a restore. It was like $275 for like a beautiful, when I say like, I was like, holy fuck, this is a jackpot. Beautiful table with like that makes it bigger, like an extension, could fit
Yeah.
4 or 6. All of the chairs, which were brand new and fully covered. It was like it was in some rich man's house that they never used as a formal dining room.
Nice.
Probably would have cost it over $2,000 for this entire set because we looked. I was determined. And we spent $275 on the entire
Oh
thing.
my God. Love that.
And we found like a IKEA couch that I washed from like the restore. I refurbished a dresser. We painted it, refurbished my desk. It was free. Like my friend gave it to me. She didn't want to do it anymore. So I was like, I'll take it.
I remember you mentioning the desk too.
Yeah.
How did that end up working out? Because it was massive
Great.
and grand, and I know you were like very skeptical going into it.
It's beautiful. Like it's a great desk. It looks great. It was such a bitch to get in our house. Like if you were a fly on the wall or the neighbors outside, which completely watched us struggle with this. If you're listening, it was rude.
Yeah, and thanks for the help.
Yeah, 300-pound desk. Okay, my back down. And how to get into our house. I don't know who developed this stupid layout, but like it's a really tiny little like stairwell up because our house is like our garage is underneath us and our house is above it.
Right.
So it's so narrow and we had to get it up 2 sets of steps. And me and Nathan, I was like, I can't lift anymore. My back's gonna give out. He's at the top. He's like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, I don't know. 2 grown-ass men in a truck behind us just watching. I was like, I can't.
Honestly, I hope they got a flat tire on the way home.
Yeah, I'm like, you know,
like, come on, lend a hand.
Hello.
Like, come on.
At least offer. You don't
Yeah.
like we can say no.
Just sit there with your popcorn.
Yeah. And watch. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'll prove to them I can do this. And we did it. We got in the house. Don't know how we're getting it out, but that's not
It
my
might
fault
just
right
live
now.
in the house forever.
It might just come with the
Yeah.
house. But yeah, so now we have some things. But I also think like having nothing and living out of a suitcase for 90% of my 20s, and Nathan doesn't really have a lot of things. We don't need a lot of things. And I think you can really start collecting shit. And I'm trying my hardest not to. But then at the same time, that shit makes a house feel like a home. So
it's both.
it's like
I felt it. Like moving from our last house to this house, like as you were talking about garage and parking in the garage, I was just thinking about our garage because when we bought our first house, we had a barn, okay? So when we moved in, we were like, what on earth are we going to do with a barn? But let me tell you, it fills up over 7 years, storing shit for people, this random stuff that you don't need to get rid of because you technically have the space. You might need it eventually. But when we moved, oh my God, we got rid of so much stuff. And then even now, because we downgraded, we no longer have a barn, and one of our like garages / like sheds wasn't accessible because of the snow. There's like one little path through our house garage right now, and I'm like, there's no way I'm getting a car in there anytime soon. So we're still very much living the Canadian winters, but even in your house, same thing, fills up quickly.
Yeah, even with decorations like Christmas, we have a Christmas tree now and stuff, and I'm like, well, people just buy new things every year, and I'm like, you don't genuinely have to. We're also just like really strapped for cash at the moment, so maybe that's why I'm not balling out and buying shit. But like
what for? Like I used to have a wreath for every single month. What for?
What? Really?
Yeah, right? And now I'm
Because
like, fuck you,
stores,
holidays. I don't care. I had
yes,
Yeah.
these. I
go
had,
into Winners.
I had,
Like
yes.
every 3 days, it's a new season in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's Easter. Easter's literally 5 seconds. You don't need a bunny holding an egg with a
No.
hat. It's so cute, and I want it, but don't buy it.
No.
Like, you don't need it.
No. We talked about overconsumption very recently. And I don't, oh my God. Do you know Panda Mart in Scarborough?
Yes.
Talk about overconsumption. I was like, this is what's wrong with the world. But also, where's the beauty section? But I only spent $3. So it's, I didn't give in, but
I know I have to like even like lapping this back into content creation last year. Like I had to really take a step back because it was like by the end of the year when it got to like Black Friday and stuff, I was so physically burnt out and I got such an ick from sharing brands that like yes, it's like make your dollar, but at the same time there has to be some like I don't know how people do it like with 100 brands all the time because dude, I was exhausted from like 10, not even. Like I'm like I don't need to sell people. I don't want them to spend their money. Save it.
Yeah.
To be honest, at Christmas, I'm a person that's like, don't buy me shit. Don't buy shit. Don't buy that person shit. I even had to put my foot down with Nathan's family. I'm like, we're not doing that again this year of this stupid white elephant thing where people just get a bunch of garbage that gets in the back of the closet. I would rather us like, we did a thing instead of like, it had to be a puzzle or it had to be something like creative. It's like, okay, at least you can do it. Like, at least you can have something to do. But I'm like, even then, that's not the point of Christmas. Save your money. Let's go hang out as a family or bring a bottle of wine and food. Like, you don't need, I don't need to leave here with like a back massager and a fucking taupe nail polish that I didn't need.
Yeah, I couldn't agree anymore. Like, totally quality over quantity when it comes to buying gifts, and I'd rather it be something somebody needs than just trying to guess. Like, we did Secret Santa this year with Spencer's family, and it was awesome because everyone got, like, we did like a wish list of like 10 things, something somebody actually needed. We set a budget, and it was like you knew the person actually wanted / needed it.
Yeah, that's what we do with his like immediate family because you're not buying crap. Like you're literally buying the exact wish list. Like everything on the wish list, his dad had me. I'm like, thank God for his dad because he would just get me exactly what I asked for. I'm like, perfect.
Literal perfect.
I love that.
Yes.
Perfect. To a T, literally everything.
Like,
and I'm
click
like,
the link. Good to go.
This was already in my Amazon cart, so thank you.
That's what I was going to say. It's something you would have needed anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I always wondered, or I always wonder, I do daily, not daily, frequently wonder, like in the world of influencership, because I had a foot in the modeling industry in the 90s, which is a whole other story. But like our job was to sell stuff, right? So now it's like, I think, kind of changed to influencers. You're your own contractor, so there's no agency involved anymore. But like, where is the ethical line of like pushing stuff for people to buy and like, do we really need the stuff? But also, if that's how you make your money, well, that's how you make your money. How do you make that in your head? I don't know.
I think it's different for everyone.
True.
I think everyone has like a moral compass. And like for me, it's hard too when you're not somebody who's like extremely financially stable because when I think about it, I know how much that I used to compare myself to the things that I couldn't buy. And because I've already had that and I'm still kind of in that position where I can't just go out and buy what I want, it makes me think about how other people might feel when they feel lack of. And I don't like that because I look at what everyone else has sometimes and I get caught up in it of like, oh, I wish I could buy that. I'm not well off. I'm not where I want to be.
Yeah.
But like the reality is also like none of those people are also buying this shit either. So like they're getting it for free. So it's like, to me, I always ask myself, would I buy this with my own money? And if I would, then I will support this brand. NYX, I buy with my own money. I bought with my own money before I was even an ambassador.
Yeah.
And also some products like that I've been curious about. I'll always be honest about it too, though. If I've been given something that's shit, I will say it's shit or I won't say anything. Like, I'm not going to say, this is the best thing ever. Because if it, like, I've done that in the past when it came to making a quick buck because I needed it. Like, I remember I like partnered with an alcohol brand. I don't really drink. And I'm not going to lie, when I do drink, it's not that. Like, so, and it made sense at the time because it's like, oh, it's a seltzer. So like when you're into the health and wellness, most people drink like vodka sodas. It's less alcohol.
Yeah.
I'm drinking red wine, vodka martinis, or that's basically it. So it just like, it felt like really unaligned, but I needed the money so badly.
Sure.
And after that moment of posting it and not wanting to post it and not wanting to
Yeah.
talk about it made me so icked at myself and so like not aligned with myself that it really showed me that, okay, like I'm not for that. And it's not to say that people who frequently sell are bad people or have no moral
No.
compass. They just have a bigger threshold and they might have bigger consumerism budgets in their life, or they might just be very big consumers that like to try things. It's also like giving people honest reviews about things. If you're honest about the brands you're working with, it is a good place. Like, why do you watch people's YouTube and tell their reviews about products? Why do you read Yelps? Why do you read these things? Because people have reviewed these products. I like to think it also as if they're coming from a good place and they feel aligned with the brand and they want to try it out to give you a review, and that's kind of what their content is. Someone has to do it. So why not make money by doing that, right? So I think that's where my line gets crossed is like, what is my, does it feel good for me? And I think a lot of people have that. Some people just have a bigger threshold for that. Mine's not very big, unfortunately, which sucks. But I also like growing with the company. I don't like one-off tips, and I don't like being like, oh, I've had this once and they paid me for it and I've never bought it since. So that's where I get really picky with it. And I'm okay with not necessarily making $1 million because I also, it depends what you're trying to grow. Like, I feel like I've never wanted to be an influencer. I've never wanted to only have money through brand partnerships. It's great and it's nice when you love the brand and it's nice when you need the money sometimes. But I think, like you said at the beginning, with modeling, there was an agency. People have agents now.
That's true.
But I think that something I heard and something I fully agree with is influencing is the new 9 to 5. You are still not your own person. You are still banking on something.
Yeah, you still have to follow their brief.
Exactly. So
I've been there, tried that, didn't like it.
Yeah. So once I kind of heard that a couple months ago and was like, oh, wow, like that's actually right. It still doesn't, I didn't get caught up in it because I'm like, this is still not what I've ever wanted to build. I've always wanted my own thing so that I have to say, I'm the person giving the brief and I'm the person allowing creators to have their freedom because I luckily have gotten to see the other side of it, which I think is a really good thing for our business. Nathan and I both work with brands and have been on both sides of the equation. So it gives us a lot of what to not do and what to do and what I like about brands and what I don't like about brands. I also think that there is a reason why they do what they do. And I think creators also become very hyper independent of like, well, I'm this person. It's like, yes, but you're representing them. So there is still something that has to really align with them. And there has to be kind of like a give and a take on both parts where it aligns both ways.
Yeah.
I do think that big companies, though, really lack the ladder to really make the changes to kind of be where influencing is now, and what they should be doing for influencers and like how they approach people is just kind of really old school. And sometimes extremely cheap. Not to say influencers, some don't over expect money more than they are so worth. And I say that with a grain of salt, but like, the fact that they expect brands to pay them so much for one time when they've never really done anything for their brand or really given any return on the brand's investment. I am always like, why do you expect them to give you something that you've never proven your worth for, even though your followers might prove it, but not with their brand specifically?
Right.
So
it's very complex.
Yes. There's like no, it's not black or white. I feel like there's so many gray areas, and I think to each their own is like the easiest way I can say that. I just know where I stand with it and how I feel, and all I can speak on is that.
So do you consider yourself officially an influencer?
No, I don't know. There's nothing bad about it. I don't know why I've always felt like,
I feel like you're so much more than that. It might be like a sliver of your story, but I feel like you're so much more multifaceted.
I hope I'm more of like an inspirer and an empowerer. Like, I don't want to influence your decisions on your life, but I would love to empower you to make decisions that make you happy. And I would love to inspire you to maybe do things that feel good for you, but might not look good to other people. Like, I would hope that my platform does that. I just find influence to me always goes to consumerism. And I influenced you to buy that. You can influence someone to quit their job also. I think it's just kind of looking at it from a different lens. But yeah, I hope that people are more inspired and empowered and just feel better about their life and feel less alone on the journey of finding out who they are, and know that there's not really a time frame on it, that as you've known, I've lived a million lives in my
Oh my God.
30 years. And I'm probably going to live a million more. So
your video this afternoon going from like the fittest ever to like current, I was like, girl,
God is
fucking same. And like,
and it's mentally shitty. It's a
it
shitty
is.
thing.
And people are like, you can get back there. I'm like, do I want to get back there? That was a lot of work. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is.
And also, even though your body might look good on paper, did it actually feel good in reality? Like, I know a lot of people, when they're at their thinnest, they're also at their like mentally lowest too. So there's some give and
I
take.
was at my best on the first thing, like healthy, all around balance. I was like, and I've been what you just said. I've been the unhealthiest, but looked the best before. I wouldn't even say I looked the best. I looked skeletal. So that's
that
different.
Was kind of
but like,
point.
I will say, I think that's what makes it the hardest though, is when you do look back and you're like, no, I was actually where I felt physically and mentally my best, both aligned. And then things just happen that are out of your control. And even what I said on my story after what I posted, it's like, I think it's just that level of shame that you feel. And it's not because people actually think this about you, and some might, but I think you think people think that. Like, what did she do? What happened to her? Oh, she used to be so fit. Or, oh, like I thought she was a coach. Like, and I think for me, it's a big thing about being in this industry, being not taken seriously, because there's also this huge fine line about like body positivity and also just like being unhealthy, but also both ends of the spectrum. And I think there's such a, like anything, people like to take trends and like go far the other way with it. And I think I've noticed that I used to be very unapologetic when I talked about things online. And I catch myself trying to say the right thing or in the right context, because I have been told in the past when I've shared my story that it's triggered people. And I got really like, it kind of made me take a step back and be like, my experiences are my experiences. And if that triggers you, that's something that you need to work on. Because my responsibility is to share my story in a way that's not hurting anybody else. And the only reason it's hurting you is because you're not willing to do the inner work to not be triggered by things that are outside of your control. And that was kind of a big thing. But then I feel like years later, I've realized that I've kind of gotten back to that, like, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to say something funny and bold, but like, I am very blunt and bold, but then I'm also very soft and graceful when it comes to people's journeys. Like, I will always be the tough love coach. I will give you all the grace in the world, but when you're actually not showing up for yourself, when I know you freaking can, I will literally call you out for it. But it's like, how do you share that on social media sometimes when I don't want to just feel like every other fitness influencer that's like, you just need more discipline. But I also
everyone has the same number of hours in a day.
Yeah, like I hate that. But then there's also,
honestly, they don't.
No, we don't.
We have completely different days. But then there's like this, like I said, there's this huge fine line of like being that bold and that blunt of like calling people out for their bullshit and their laziness and their self-sabotaging, but also having grace for things that, like, yes, I always say, like, my back went out, chronic pain was out of my control. Could I have probably done more? Sure. But then there's this mental battle you play when you're in chronic pain all the time, that you don't want to be in pain. So you don't want to do anything that might cause you pain. And so there's always like this level of grace I try to give for people, but I'm trying to just find that boldness back in myself to not call other people out, but call myself out and be like, this is something people don't talk about. The transformation on the other end of the spectrum. You always just see all these beautiful transformations. And like, but what about the people who had a season that wasn't about thriving? We just feel shame at our house and never want to show our bodies or our faces on social media and talk about it, because we feel like people are going to come at us being like, she got fat. Oh, she let herself go. Oh, she calls herself this. And it's like, but I'm human. And one season doesn't depict every season. My body's been a million things in my life. And yes, like you said, when you see yourself that way, you know you're capable of getting back to it because you know exactly what you need to do, which is a good thing. But also then there's the thing of like, oh, it was so much work though. And I don't know if I want to do it to that extent, because I'll have to kind of go harder to get back there. And then once I maintain it, it might be easier. But like, it's that like the thought of the action is harder than the action itself, of like, fuck, that's going to take a lot of work. And even Nathan, he's like, I used to lift heavy shit. I used to be quite badass in the gym. I would be deadlifting 225 pounds for like reps. Don't feel like I need to do that anymore. But then I also, in my head, because that's what I did to get muscle and that's what I did to shape my body that way, I feel like, well, I have to. I'm going to look like shit if I don't. Like, So it's like, it's a hard battle. It's mentally fucked.
Well, and it's not like 0 to 100 too, right? Like it's
Right.
not a sprint, it's a marathon. Because like
Exactly.
as much as it might feel like, oh, I need to get back to that place in the next 6 months to a year, it's like realistically, we're so young. Like you have your entire life to treat your body well and get to whatever that is. So I think it's more about, I don't know, for me, I've tried to focus more on like lifestyle and the things that do feel good. There's obviously discipline and pushing yourself, but also, I don't know, having some grace or compassion for like where you're at, still doing your best and like slowly building up to that, because it's hard to go from nothing to lifting 200 pounds. But if you're slowly building towards it, like you're going to get there again, and you find that momentum and that motivation again naturally just by building back those really good habits.
No, 100%. And like, I have to tell myself that. Like, I'm actually really grateful I'm a coach, because I'm a normal human and I have all the same thoughts as every other person on the planet. But
You coach yourself just as much as other people.
like, I always am like, what would I tell somebody else? I already,
Yeah.
it's like, you kind of know the answers, so you can bounce a little bit quicker. But I always say also, I wish I was naive sometimes, because then I wouldn't be so hard on myself when I don't do it, like what I know I'm supposed to be doing. And I think for me, I'm always a person, like, it has to come to this like flip of a switch. I can be in this weird, period of, I think there's just more, what am I trying to say? I think when I look back at the last year of how my body changed, it wasn't immediate. Wasn't overnight. I maintained quite great, to be honest, from literally going from moving all the time and basically training for high rocks to like doing dick all. So I could have gained 30 pounds, to be honest, but I just did my best. And that's the thing, is like my missing piece was always movement. And so now that I'm able to actually do that, whenever I'm doing a workout, like I sit after and just say, thank you, God, for giving me a body that I didn't have pain today. And like, it just gives you a way better understanding of your body. And I think sometimes I wish everyone would kind of go through an injury or a health thing, so that they'd actually respect that their body is way more than a weight, that there should be gratitude and progress in so many other ways, that weight doesn't, I couldn't care if I was 300 pounds if I looked and felt my best. Like, that is never really something that's triggered me when I step on the scale. I'm like, okay, I've obviously gained weight. I want to see how my body's changing and make sure that I'm going in the right direction, but do I feel good? And even now, from flipping that switch about a month ago now, I've only lost, like, give or take, like maybe 5 pounds. I haven't lost that much body fat, but I significantly feel better because I'm able to actually show up for myself in the capacity that I know I am. I'm full throttle. Like, I only work out 3 days a week. I want to get back to like 4 or 5, and not lifting, but like a mix of lifting and Pilates and just getting my steps in and stuff like that. But my template is quite different than it used to be, but it's because I also just don't enjoy lifting 5 days a week. I'm bored of it. I've been doing it for 10 years. It's just not something that lights me up anymore. So maybe this break and finding things is good too.
You should come do aerial sports. That's what
I would love to. I saw pool class once, and it was the coolest shit I've ever done. And I felt so badass. And I feel like doing things outside of your comfort zone is what makes you feel confident. Because like for me, my teacher was a male, and I'm like, he is a goddess. And I don't understand that he is so severely confident in what clearly was never a male dominant thing. And he shows up and he teaches, and he was like so fabulous. And I was like, if you can do it, why can't I? Like, if you could have the confidence in a space that actually probably should be the opposite, why the fuck can I not? And so I would love to. I think it'd be so sick. I don't know how you hold yourself up that much. My upper body is quite not that strong, so I respect.
But it builds your strength. That's a lot of like conditioning and stuff. Because that's why I started doing pole, was just because I wanted to try something new, and I wanted to work out without feeling like I was working out. I was like, I want something fun. I want to trick myself into doing activities rather feeling like I'm like pushing myself to do something. I wanted to feel like pulled and excited about doing it. It's so fun.
And then all of a sudden you're lifting your own body weight by just your shoulders.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's insane.
Yeah.
Why do you laugh when I say all the things you're doing? Because you think it's not a lot of things?
Yeah, like I just think from an outside perspective, I've had lots of people be like, I don't know how you do it all. And I just don't feel like I'm doing it, to be honest.
That's honestly crazy, but like,
like I do
get that perception.
Like, I definitely think that I have more on my plate than more people, but I think because things aren't out there yet, like, and it's just in kind of like the building phase, it just feels like it's not a substance yet. So it's like, I'm not really juggling a lot because I'm not really juggling managing something after it's done. It's just kind of like the work. And I also feel like there's been a lot of things with my app and stuff that I've overthought, and just lots of things with Mondays that just aren't going the way that we wanted it to. So it feels like you're building something, but you're not a business owner yet or something.
Yeah.
Like it just feels like in the phase where no one sees you doing anything, and not the phase that everyone praises, but this is the phase that you should praise, because this is what
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, do you think it's because you're not like, I mean, you're public about it to a certain degree. Obviously, people know that you're working on something, but like, do you think that you have those thoughts because you think it's the perception of other people, because you're not as public about like all the things that you're doing to like a micro level?
Yeah, like I think I have a bad habit of feeling like I need to over explain every struggle to make something valid. And I think that I've done that my entire life, that I feel like I always have to take the hard way and not the more simple, approachable way. Like I feel like I've always had to like feel like I prove myself through struggling through something and coming out on the other side of like this like hero, this like, what's the word I'm trying to think of?
Like underdog.
Yes, the underdog story. I do feel like I really have this like blanket over me my whole life of like needing to be the underdog, and taking that on. And I've learned through different situations in my life that I don't always need to struggle through something in order for it to be valid.
Yeah.
It's not something I'm not currently struggling with. I think I'll always struggle with that, but I always feel like I should be doing more. And there is things that I absolutely can take accountability for that I could have been doing better and doing more. I think, especially with my app, like there has been a lot of hiccups that are out of my control with the coding of it and stuff like that. But there's lots of things that I could have done quicker. And I think I got in my own way of, I've been trying to like work through why. Like I feel like this was supposed to be launched in 2025, and then it was supposed to be launched in January, and then now it's March. I'm a perfectionist 90% of the time, and I think that going into this, I had an idea or an understanding that it was going to be something more than it is, and not to degrade it by any means. Like I'm still grateful for it, and I'm so proud of it, and I have to remind myself your first isn't your last, and your first is never your best. But I just really pride myself on being really proud of what I put out there, and I put a lot of work into the things I do. Like my cookbook took me forever, but I am still look at it and I'm very proud of myself. And I actually feel like there's not much more I could do better in that sense. Like it was the best, but it took way longer than I wanted it to. For my app, I'm really trying to get out of my head, and with Mondays of like, it's not going to be perfect. And the only way to make it better is by putting it out there and getting feedback from people and making it better for them, because it's not for me. It's for other people and some other people. Both of my businesses are. It's not, selfishly, I need both. But like, they weren't for me. Like the idea wasn't like, oh, I want this for myself. It's always been like, I couldn't find these things and I wanted to have something that I could have my own space with. And with my app, it was about having something that can be more scalable and reach more people at a lower ticketed cost, so that I can kind of get back to the roots of why I wanted to be a coach in the first place, was to make it affordable and accessible for more people. Even though it's not up to the standards I would wish when I look at and compare it to other fitness apps that have been created by people who have completely coded their own app and have put hundreds of thousands of dollars of capital into making it such a beautiful experience for people. And I think that
Summer was just homeless. Like it's like it's on the, like there's this common thing on the internet right now, like people who didn't have support for whatever period in their life, comparing themselves to people who did have support is not a fair comparison.
Yeah. And I shouldn't say, like, the thing is, I will, like I said this to you guys before, like, the only reason why I have been able to do these things is actually because I have support this time. And I think a lot of my life I didn't, and that's not to shit on anyone. They did the best that they could and gave me what they could, but it was never something I never asked. I'm not an asker. But the only reason why I was able to start a business or fund this is because of Nathan, and he's like an extremely integral part. So I don't compare myself to people that have support in a way. I get what you're saying, because I used to do that. And I had this conversation with one of my friends the other day, because Nathan actually said something and I actually called him out for it, because I was like, I don't want to do that anymore, where you try to justify someone's success based on knowledge you don't know. So you look at what everyone else has and you look at these influencers, like uber successful businesses really quickly, and you kind of try to shit on it to make it like it's more obtainable if they had, because they had help or something. Like you say something like, for instance, I do this with Rhodes sometimes with Haley. Well, she's Haley Bieber, Justin Bieber. She piggybacks. Like it's so easy to start shitting and tearing somebody down, but to be successful, doesn't matter who you are and what celebrity status you have. Running a business is so hard, and being successful and to being able to scale. Yes. Can you say that people with bigger influence can sell out a product probably better than somebody with no social media at all? Absolutely. That's just fundamental. Doesn't mean retention, and it doesn't mean quality. So he said something about an influencer we're looking at, and he was like, well, she probably has a rich husband. And I said, you don't know that. Just because she's filming in a nice bathroom, she could have made all her money, and she could have had no husband, and she could have had rich parents or not rich parents. And I think when it comes down to it, I think people who come from not a lot, I think it's just ingrained in us to kind of justify why someone's more successful than us because they had it easier.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that really holds people back that didn't come from a lot from being successful, because they think that they have to have that support right away in order to even begin. Nathan and I are not millionaires. We are not even hundreds of thousands of dollars heirs. Like we are really struggling financially to support this business because a big chunk of it is Nathan. And he allowed me to have the grace to keep being self-employed, get my app going, and and kind of give me the time and space that I need to like make my own money without pressuring me to feel like I have to get a job. But we're kind of cutting down to a time where now that we're starting production and starting to really fork out a lot of capital, there is that pressure coming down. And I even said yesterday, like probably every day I say, should I just go get a job just for now? Like, can I juggle everything I'm doing with a part-time job to even just give me some sort of consistency so that I can cover more financial than I can right now? Because like I said, when I quit my job, this year hasn't been financially what I thought it would be at all. Like it isn't. And replacing a full-time income isn't easy on your own. It is not. Like it's also not easy when, like we talked about earlier, you're battling moral compasses that you can make more money, but like it doesn't feel good. And then you know, it's also nice and comfortable your first year because you're kind of just like enjoying the time of freedom and you're not really thinking that far ahead sometimes. So it isn't because I feel like I'm not doing enough sometimes. Like sometimes it's that, but I think that I just really always want to put something good out that I'm really proud of. And I get in my own way sometimes when it's not there yet, but it won't get there unless I put it out. Like it's kind of this double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I want to hug you, but you're so far away. But I do see what you're talking about, like with Mondays. Like sometimes it just goes slow. Like how long have you been talking about the box design? Months. But like that's part of building a business.
Yeah. And I think that's why we wanted to, I'm so public with lots of things, but I also wanted to be really public with building this brand, is because from someone who's never really built something like this before, you make assumptions because you're looking at people who have been doing this for either years, who have investors, who have grown into an amazing brand. They obviously never start like that, but I didn't really ever see certain brands that I can come off the top of my head. Like I didn't see them in their apartment building boxes, and they probably have that as part of their story, but like it makes people and people who are entrepreneurial, who want to start something of their own, like I said, it makes this like really big barrier that you feel like you have to go 0 to 100 when you need capital. You can't have a business without it, like, and more than you think you need. And even with our boxes, like we've went back and forth, like for literally probably 8 months, I've wanted a different packaging box and what we had to get and what we have. And it's changed 100 times. And now we're on to shipping boxes. And I kind of like really wanted it to be this like experience, this intentional experience for someone to open this and look like we actually gave a shit. And we physically can't as a small startup. Like it's not smart to spend $3 a shipping box that someone's just going to throw in the trash. That's not even holding our supplement. That's just the box the supplement box is going into. And I wanted to brand it, and I wanted it to be more like, I wanted it to look like Rode. I wanted it to look the capacity of Rode. We are not Rode. We do not have hundreds of millions of dollars to back up what we want. So we're going to have to settle with something that I don't love, but if it means getting someone our product and them falling in love with it, then we have more retention, we have more customers, and eventually it's a post that we can get to. And I'm just really,
I was going to say, you can get there and build towards it.
to have something to like build your customer base too, like seeing the development of your packaging from a brown box with some branded tape to
from the Uline catalog.
Literally, that's what I want to wear. I want all day pricing out boxes. And I've used Uline for my other businesses. There's nothing wrong with it. But I think that's what I'm saying is like you're comparing to a conglomerate.
Yes.
You're comparing to someone's 20 to our chapter 1. But it's really lonely at chapter 1 because a lot of people don't share that. They don't share the struggles of that. They don't share, we had to cut costs here and we had to stay up till 4 a.m. and we had to, yes, it's assumed, like, unless you're going right into distribution and you have the funds to do that or you have the magnitude, but most of us don't. And I think it's crazy when I hear businesses that, to me, they're big businesses, are still small. Like they still see themselves as small and they don't have a big corporate, even like with brands I work with, like they make a lot of money, but like they don't have a lot of employees. Like, so it's just, I'm learning so much and I'm learning to really just like try to stay in my own lane. And I'm really trying to focus on that this year because the last couple of years I was not in my own lane. I was really focused on what everyone else was doing and how everyone else was growing. And when your life pivots a lot, like you feel like you're missing out or that maybe you could have been farther along or whatever it is that your brain is telling you to take yourself out of the moment. I'm really trying to shut that off and be where my 2 feet are. Because you can't be anywhere else. And it just takes the magic out of where you are because you can't get from A to B without A, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of things don't get finished.
Yes.
Right? Because it gets very overwhelming and then you're like, oh, I can't do this. Like one thing I always like telling myself is done is better than perfect and just accepting the imperfection in anything you do and especially in business. Because the thing is, to your point of like, you only have so much capital to invest. So at least if you can get it done to a certain degree, like in project management, we call it the minimum viable product. It's like, okay, what is that minimum threshold we need to hit in order to get it out there? And then at least you can start making money. You can start getting feedback, reinvest, and then slowly grow towards that. Like speaking of Rode, I'd be curious where they were when they first launched. It probably wasn't perfect either. And maybe as the consumer, it might have looked perfect, but I bet, say to Haley, she probably didn't think it was. I'm sure she's, re-upped her game as she went too. I don't know. I've always kept with the done is better than perfect and kept like not to get too tactical, but even with the podcast, like we have a list of like our backlog items. It's like, okay, we would love to do this.
We were going to have merch in January and we do not.
And it's our priority right now, right? But it'll happen. It's sitting in our backlog. It's ready for us when we're ready, but we're not there yet. And it's okay.
Exactly. And it's just something you just really need to like continuously remind yourself of, like, what would you say to someone else in this position? And I think if I was to talk to any other business owner, even you guys, like, it's very clear that like what you're saying is exactly what I already know. It's just more so like, it's easier said than done sometimes, but
you need a sticky note, paste it right there wherever you're sitting and working.
I bought this whiteboard for the reason. I'm just like, shit on it so it's in my face. 100%.
I love it. Yeah, I even think about, because you're going to have your products in I go very tactical, so I apologize. I'm just like literally thinking of like the problem you put out there and I'm like, what's the solution? But I'm just thinking like packaging and stuff. I love how you overthink it because you want to show that you care. But I'm even thinking like Liquid IV is one of my favorite products. Their packaging is not fancy.
It's not.
Like, mine shows up in an Amazon shipping box that I throw away. And they have a dinky little bag that I put in the drawer and I pull them out of there. But it doesn't make me like the product any less. And arguably on the flip side sometimes, Hazel and I chatted about this on a recent episode, being sustainably conscious about packaging and feeling like you're wasting. Sometimes those high quality boxes, I feel guilty throwing them in the recycling and getting rid of them. And it makes me think twice about buying some products because I'm like, what a waste. Like, why is this? It's like a one-time item.
God, the boxes in the boxes in the boxes. Like someone at Amazon owns a box store, and so they funnel their money or our money really through all of their own businesses.
When you get an Amazon package and the actual item's this big,
right?
And the box is gigantic.
Don't even get me started. Do you know how much it bugs me?
Because when we were like, for me, I'm such a visual person. Like I'm so visual. So when I think about how I feel, like a lot of things make me feel a thing. And I think that the biggest thing for packaging for me was when you're a small business, because I've had a small product-based business with my baking business, you have the ability that big brands don't to be thoughtful, to be intimate, to be more careful and like intentional with being more, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, I can write your name on the card because I'm writing the card. Like, even though I'm printing the cards, I can write Hazel, I can write Kristen, I can write that so that you actually feel like I give a shit about you. And that is something, like, I'm a very, very thoughtful person naturally. So my thought goes is, how is someone going to feel when they open this? And it was more about it being more intentional than when I get something and they just throw a box in a brown box and it's kind of a piece of shit. I personally feel like it might be a great product, but I personally am like, oh, I got some skincare the other day and their box was so cute and I like read it and I took a moment. It wasn't just like peel it out and fuck the box. Like I spent time with the products. I looked at their packaging and I looked at this, but that's me. And like, so that's the thing about a business is you're kind of in your own head about everything because it's only coming from your perspective. And by getting your product out there, and like why we're building it in public is because we want people's feedback before we make these decisions. We want to know what you guys like because we know what we like and we might be biased and we might not see things that other people see. Like I even posted like 3 different ways of writing the same thing. I'm like, what
that was cool. I voted.
To. And I spent hours making this shipping box that's so freaking nice and I love it, but we can't use it. But at the end of the day, Nathan and I were like, well, what about for PR? That's our PR box. And it's a little bit more thoughtful and it's a little bit more intentional. And if it costs us a little bit more, it's a marketing budget, still eats in our thing. But I just tell myself, it's a different budget. It's not
technically it is.
It's not on our margins. It doesn't affect our margins. Like, I'm so delusional.
That's not how math works.
It is a different type of investment though.
Yeah, sure. But I am thinking like, and that's something I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. I do think at the scale of Road. I think about my business, and when other people come to me about their businesses, I think of them as these uber successful. Like, what would you do if you had all the money in the world? And that's amazing because it's something to work towards, even with events and just like intentional things of like custom stuff. Like I had this idea because Mondays is also like our first product is something you should take in the morning. And I wanted it to be something about romanticizing your morning and being like something to be with. And so I wanted to make custom pajamas for like an event and like have custom like eye things for like whatever. Like that's the way my brain thinks is like, I also work on social media. What is shareable? What is savable? What is trendable? But then talking to more business owners, you look at social media and you want to be viral. You want to be sold out. And something we really had to talk about is like, because we don't have a lot of capital to order another production line before our first one sells, we don't want to sell out. We don't want to be a trend that blows up because we will not survive it. We will not be able to invest in more because we won't have enough things to sell. And the last thing I want, and I see this with businesses that scale really quickly and sometimes too quickly, the amount of backlash that they get, I just don't want that customer experience. Like, and it's going to happen. You're never going to have a perfect, people are going to hate you, people are going to love you. That's not what I'm saying. But if you can, I think it's like anything, like you have to be okay with being small because there's beauty in being small. There's beauty in being skilled. There's beauty in being a millionaire. There's beauty in being someone who doesn't have a lot of money and can be more frugal. And I think, again, with the flipping the mindset, it's been a lot with the business and talking to more people about it. It's like, this is taking so much longer than we want, but we've been a lot more intentional with the choices because the things that we wanted at the beginning are not the things we want now. And I think we would have wasted a shitload of more money if we just rushed into something just because we're so impatient about getting it out. Yeah. It's going to come when it comes. It's going to be amazing. We're really proud of what we've created as the actual product, which is what fucking matters. So, and the packaging of the supplement itself, I designed it and I love it. And I think it's cute and adorable and I love it. So it's like, who gives a fuck if the packaging that you're shipping the boxes is brown? Like nobody. I know nobody cares.
That's so cool. I love it. I can't wait to buy some from you and try it.
I know. I'm excited. I just want to drink it myself. I'll buy some at a supplement store today. And I did it. I was like, I don't want to buy this brand. I want to buy ours. So we even asked our manufacturer, I was like, I know this might be a far fetch and I actually don't know if this is doable, but is there any physically possible way to get us at least a 30-day supply before we get 1,000 units sitting in our living room? Like, can we have some?
We want to use it
and take it every day, share it. And also selfishly, I want to drink it. I want to drink it every day.
That says something about your product.
Sorry?
That really says something about your product. If you're like, okay, just give me enough that I can use.
Yeah,
I
that's all I
use the
want.
product because I want to use it.
We won't give it to anyone else. We will keep it to ourselves. Give it to me in a Ziploc bag. We don't care what it's in. It doesn't have to be in the package. We just want to try it.
I'll bring my own mason jar. Fill her up.
Yes, like I'm
Straight up.
Gold bar, and I'll bring a cup. We don't care. We just want it for ourselves because that's one thing I am very proud of. Like we took what I feel like is a long time. We did a lot of iterations of this supplement and flavor was so important to us. And I remember we went to the manufacturer and came back and we had like one sample left. I gave some to my family. They tried it and they really liked it. But we had one sample left and I was like, oh, I just really want to take it. So I was like, I'm going to just try it now that it's been a couple weeks since trying it and see if we still think the same about how much we like it. And I drank it at the gym and I was like, this is actually so delicious. I'm like, this is actually so good. I wanted something that was a little bit addictive of like, I look forward to wanting to drink it. Like when I want to drink it, it's like, ooh, this is like my morning beverage. And I feel like we nailed that, hopefully. I think that I'm biased, but like our manufacturer said the same, but he might be biased just so we buy. So I don't know if I trust
You're actually getting me so excited about this. Like, okay, so is this something that because you haven't got too much in the details, right? Of like exactly what it is. Okay. Can I ask you?
Our product name is Mondays. Our business name is Mondays. The product is not called Mondays. Yeah.
Okay. Which means there's a pipeline for multiple products within the business.
Yes. Like my brand has 2 other products in the works.
Okay.
But we don't like the premise of Mondays was to simplify wellness for people. So I will never, I say this, I pray that this isn't something that changes, but like I've never wanted to be a supplement company that has 15, 20 products. Like everything we want to make is very intentional. We want it to be something that is simple, that is stacked to make your life easier. So you're kind of you don't have to take 15 of this and 20 of that. And you're spacing things out all day and making like, do I eat with this? Do I have to like trying to simplify that brain power so that wellness is more achievable for people and feeling good is more achievable for people. And they're enjoying it because who likes waking up at the ass crack and choking back 10 pills? Not I. I do not like that. Not me. That's not what I want. I want something that I'm enjoying it because you should
look forward to drink it and crave it.
Yeah, you should romanticize your health. Like you said about pole, like you think about Ariel, like you should enjoy what you're doing to live a healthy lifestyle. And just because lifting weights isn't something you do 6 days a week and you might do that doesn't mean you're less healthy. It's because you enjoy that. Yes, lifting weights you should always do to some extent because
we need strength.
But not for enjoyment. Like if you don't enjoy it, you don't enjoy it. So go for your health and then do the things that you enjoy, like running, walking, gymnastics, whatever it is, cycling. Do the fun shit. But you should enjoy health and wellness. And that's really what we wanted Mondays to be, was something that you look forward to that is also benefiting you and making you feel good.
Is this something that everyone can drink first thing in the morning, or is it to
athletes only
fix like some sort of deficiency? Or exactly.
No, it's for everyone. We are marketing more towards women just because we felt that there was a bigger gap in the market to educate women, for women to understand, for women to not be confused. I think women and men buy for very different reasons and take supplements for very different reasons. And I think when I look at what is out there for women's supplements, a lot of the times it's very misleading in some ways and just very like solution based, like get smaller, be toned, like all these buzzwords that are really diet culture core that we've put so much meaning behind and value behind that actually isn't really, it's misleading. Like tone means having muscle that is showing by having less body fat. Like that is what tone means, but people think that they can take something and it makes them instantly toned without having to therefore resistance train and exercise, which builds the muscle, and diet properly so that your body can show the muscle. That's what tone means. So I think when we were thinking about this, it was one thing and then now it's completely different. Like it was something very simple that was just annoying for us. And then it was like, how can we make this different? And how can we make this something that doesn't exist right now? And it grew into what we're building. And no, we haven't said exactly what it is, but it is for everyone. Men can take it. Nathan will be taking it every freaking day. I'm trying to get my dad to take it. We want something that is that grows with you and kind of stays with you as you grow through every season of your life. So whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, my grandma's literally the first person in line every time I see her. When is it coming? I want to order it. You need to get your mother to order it for me. And she's going to be 80. So she can take it as long as, obviously, like if you have health concerns, you should always check with your doctor. You shouldn't even take multivitamin without checking for your doctor. If you have something that is obviously, Health Canada is quite strict with things. So you have your claims on the back. And if you want to take it. But there's nothing, I wanted something that was simple, that wasn't scary, that didn't have all these crazy claims. There's so many ingredients. It's simple and everyone can take it. So that's a long-winded way to answer your question.
That too. Because there's nothing I hate more than going to like Popeyes where everything has mussels all over it. And I'm like, okay, I just need a probiotic.
Yeah. Or you go to Healthy Planet or something that's like more focused on that, and they try to sell you like ashwagandha maca powder, and I'm like, I'm confused now.
No,
like, I don't know what any of these are, and I just came in with one thing.
Straight up. I got overwhelmed the other day at Walmart.
Yes.
Like, what was I even looking for? I don't know. Even like Spencer, I got a cold and I can't take a lot of stuff right now. And I was like, I just want vitamin C and I want something I can like that's chewable. He called me and he like read me 10 different options. I was like, I literally don't know. Like, just I don't care. I just want vitamin C that I can chew. Please, that's it.
Get it from the
like,
kids
why
aisle.
Is it so
It's fine.
Yeah, straight up.
That was the thing. Like, there's so much confusion. And even someone like me who's been in the industry for 10 years, who like has a decent knowledge and has worked with supplement companies, I'm confused. I go in and I'm like, there's so many options. Okay, now I wanted this thing, and now I have to get 5 other products so that it kind of helps it out. Or I need to get this. Like, even today we went in to go get creatine, and I don't want planned creatine because then I have to put something else with it to make it taste good. And so then me and Nathan were battling whether we get flavored or not flavored, but we've tried flavored before, and the one we tried was disgusting. So then you don't want to risk it, because if the flavor's bad, it's bad. And so we bought the regular one, but now I'm going to have to buy. She said, well, do you want like an EAA to mix with it? Do you want like a BC?
What the
No,
fuck
I don't
is that?
want that.
I don't even know what that is. These are too many acronyms.
You don't need to take necessity. If you eat a balanced diet, you don't need to take EAAs. BCAAs are kind of baloney. EAAs are like essential amino acids, so it helps break down and rebuild proteins in your body and muscle. But it's like, no, I don't want to add another $40, $50 product. I just want this one, and I want it to be decent. Because now I can do what it says without. Now I have to either like get squeezy, which I hate, or a liquid IV or something. So now something that is quite cheap is now quite expensive because you're stacking 15 things on it when you really just wanted to take the one thing and that's it. So many pain points for people. And like I said, I already have 2 other products that I really want to make. The one is like for more female-based things, and then the other one is for everybody. But it's such a hard thing when you're building to what we kind of went back and forth about is like, do we just market towards women? Do we do both? Because really anyone could take this product, like our hero product, anyone could take it. But I just kind of was like really firm with it of like, the gap is with women. What I'm most passionate about is helping women. I think the supplement industry is 99% male dominated, and they don't really care about doing things the same way we do. And I feel like they already have that advantage. And if they want to, they absolutely can take this. And if they look at this and be like, oh, it's not for me, then they are not educated enough to ingredients. Like, not my problem. But it's like, I think if you're trying to sell to everyone, you're selling to no one. And I wanted it to be I wanted our values to stay fluid with educating women on these things. And, if I was to think long term, I've always wanted to have like a nonprofit to help educate young women about how to actually fuel your body properly, what exercise actually is about, not about being smaller. Like, I've always wanted to go to school and talk about this and have something. So it's like keeping it in what I know best, which is women's health. And like, I've been doing it for 10 years.
It makes so much sense.
It's kind
of
on
brand for you.
With your boyfriend who's not.
But that's okay. He also cares about women.
Yes.
And I will say, for like households, like women are typically the primary purchasers, right? Like, Spencer drinks what I get officers.
That's what I said to him. I'm like, most people, if a boyfriend wants this and their girlfriend's drinking it, they'll try it once, say it's delicious, and then be like, I want that too. So it makes such a battle. But yeah, I don't feel like when I look at brands like Honor Active, who are like very stern in being for women, have all the money to probably start a men's line, and probably enough women's boyfriends who are wearing their tracksuits to like have men's products, but she just doesn't, it would dilute her brand and it would make sense. So that's why we said like absolutely everyone can take this, but our market is women because that's where the gap is for us.
Exactly. I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm really
Me too.
excited. So no pressure. You can say no comment, but do we have like an estimated date of the day that we could be sitting here on the podcast doing like a live taste testing to give you our honest feedback?
Yeah. We had a little hiccup today, to be honest. We got an email that scared me a little bit, but I realized that things don't always appear as they seem, and it wasn't as scary as I thought. So I thought we were going to have to prolong it even more to get a new license because Health Canada came out with like a new claim about one of our ingredients, but it doesn't mean it's out yet. So we don't have to do anything yet. We have like 3 years to do it. So which is good. But I instantly was like, do we have to go change our formula? Do we just like minimize this ingredient? Because it was about a certain amount has this claim. And we're at the very beginning of that amount threshold, which pisses me off. Like if we were 1 gram less, we wouldn't have to worry about it. But anyway, we got that figured out. Our production estimation. That's not even a word. Our estimate.
We know what it is.
I think what we got from our manufacturer is the beginning of May.
Ooh.
Wow, that's soon.
Far away. See, to me, that sounds like 1,000 years away, but we're almost in April. So the thing about it is, so our manufacturer is in Canada, which I love. So we can drive there and pick everything up. But where we're manufacturing our water bottles that we're having is China. So they were in Chinese New Year for a month. Didn't know that. So that was a plus. That was actually a minus, but it was a plus to know to not have a launch in January or February of a new year. But things take forever to ship from overseas. So because 60% of our ingredients come from China and our water bottles come from China, the process, to give you a little BTS of it, is that it's quick to get, aka like for them to get it on a boat, but it takes 50 days to get here. So by the time we order, they order the ingredients. They have to ship it by boat, which takes 50 days unless you want to pay out the.
Oh my God, it's going to go past my house. That's so cool.
It's going to boat. Yeah. It comes from China.
It's going to go. It is.
Take pictures. If you see like.
Also, it's just a big sea container that says Mondays. Yeah. That's the goal.
Yeah, so then it goes from there, and then our manufacturer gets it. It has to quarantine, our ingredients have to quarantine for a week. And then they also have to go through heavy metal testing and stability testing and all these things, which takes. So the actual production time to make our supplement is like days, like 2 days. But the process of getting it from ingredient to thing takes like 2 to 3 months, which is crazy. Yeah. Which, when you're thinking about our next order, we have to think so far ahead of like, it's a lot.
This is why you cannot sell out.
That is why. But we can't be our next thing without selling our first thing.
Yeah.
So hopefully we just become multimillionaires before that, and our businesses on the side are booming.
Start buying lottery tickets now.
Yes, or the bank just actually wants to give us money because they just seem to not in Canada. They don't want anyone to have successful businesses.
I was actually going to ask you that earlier. Have you considered getting investors, like either typical bank loans or even actual investors?
I would never want to have an investor this early with any percentage of our business. So I wouldn't want to give away any percentage without knowing what our business is really worth. Yes, we've asked the bank, we've asked multiple banks. Mm-hmm. They just don't, we have no revenue. So they don't trust us, even though our bank is through where Nathan's banked his entire life and he has so much credit from them personally and for his own business. Basically what they had said to us is that his own business can take the loan and give it to Mondays. But then in my head, I'm like, but he's still the one paying the loan off. So like, why does it matter? Because then just so much transferring money, like we've been transferring from a line of credit or like our banks. And it's just like, it's really hard to keep tally of like all the stuff and not get it mixed and mumbled through our own personal shit. So we're trying our best with that. I think once we start selling, once we have profit, revenue coming in, I think it'll be a lot easier. It's just more so that we literally have nothing and we have no proof of concept at this point. So a bank would be selling to give us money, even though I've gotten a car that was $60,000 like when I was 20 and had like was making like $3,000 a month. Like make it make sense.
No,
but like if you went on Dragon's Den, they'd be like, you don't have a business that you have an idea.
Yeah. And people even said you should go on Dragon's Den. I'm like, I wouldn't go on there unless we had revenue. Unless you're a tech product, like they wouldn't buy it.
No, you need, you have to show the proof. Otherwise, they don't know that anybody wants it.
Yeah.
I'll get there. Yeah,
So I
100%.
have full faith. Like, there's nothing like I'm either delusional or extremely optimistic. Like, anyone
You
that's
need a
tried
bit of
to get
both.
or anyone that we talked to about it has been all very positive. So it's just about getting it out there. And then once it's out there, then the floodgates are
It's
open
okay.
and we'll see.
Hot girl summer just
Yeah.
became hot Monday summer.
Yes. But I'm summer, so it's hot summer,
Yeah.
hot girl summer for Mondays.
Yeah.
Hot girl Mondays.
Yeah.
Hot girl Mondays.
We titled this podcast the Summerverse. Well, actually, I lied. Going into the planning session with you, we called it the Summerverse, which one episode split into 3. So that
I
tells
love
you something.
that. Nathan will love that. That's what I thought
Yeah.
of instantly.
I love it.
I just had such bad deja vu right now.
Really?
Yeah, weird. Of this. I just had really bad deja vu.
Like we've been here
Well,
before.
we will be here again.
Yes.
So.
Our timelines crossed.
Next time with another guest, Nathan.
And
Is he
hopefully a
ready for
cuter
us?
background.
I know his backgrounds. All of us have the same gray background. Can we splash some color in our houses, please?
No,
I
like
am.
mine is like so much worse though. If you could only see without the blur, like that's my walking pad right there.
Fair.
Like it's bad. Like my house is still getting unboxed, and for whatever reason, my office has become the lowest priority. There are 12 totes stacked along me on the
She
walls.
doesn't have a desk. She
and
has
like
totes.
a whole pile of shit.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Yeah, literally.
Mom is literally on toad. She's currently sitting on a toad. It's just a bag of toads.
I would actually love that. That would be hilarious. Thankfully, we have a desk. It's just everything around me is absolute chaos, but we'll get there.
Thank God for a blur background. You could have put yourself. I love when people do like our manager does this from a manufacturer. He always has like a fun background.
Yeah.
So like last time, I'm like, "Ooh, what spa are you at?" And he's like, "I'm why don't you just have the office background then?"
I love it.
That fireplace looks rather toasty. It looks pretty gloomy out there in Windsor. What are you doing?
This was fun.
Yeah. Any words of wisdom to leave our listeners with?
I feel like I talked enough.
If you're not inspired
okay.
now, go back.
The above.
Yeah,
There.
I'm trying to think. Just stop getting in your own way. I feel like you're so much more capable and powerful than you really actually let yourself believe. And why not you? That's something I have to keep asking myself every single day. Not even asking, telling. Like, why not you? When you can see what everyone else has and there's things that other people have that you really want or think you're capable of. Or maybe you're more talented, or maybe you have something that you are like, they have that and I do this and why can't I? It's like, why can't you? You absolutely can. So get out of your own way. Stop making a better door than a window and just let yourself be cringe. Let yourself make mistakes. Let yourself just do the thing, because at the end of the day, the time's going to pass anyways. So you may as well have a cool story, maybe a little debt.
Yeah.
But
I always love saying
it's just
that.
money.
Experience.
It's fine.
For the plot. It's for the plot.
Do it for the plot. Exactly. And that's it.
I love
I would
it.
drop the mic, but it's probably expensive and it's my difference.
Mic drop.
Cute.
Well, Hazel, any final words before we say our closing
No,
line?
I wish we all lived closer together so we could hang out in
I
real
know.
life. That's all.
I know. We'll have to make a trip to Ottawa. I was going to say, where are you? I just know Ottawa is Christmas.
South. Like the St. Lawrence River's across the street.
Location.
I'm not telling the podcast exactly where I live, but I live on the St. Lawrence River. And that's why I say the boat is going to go right past.
Oh, sick. Do all boats come in that way?
And when she says boat, she means massive ship.
I do mean massive ship.
Yeah.
I know. And I go, ooh, a boat. And then my neighbors are like, you mean the transatlantic ship that just went by?
And then someone's behind them in like a speedboat, and you're like, that's the boat. It's like,
listen, I'm going to start hanging out at marinas, because if you got a boat, you got money.
Why do you think I loved living in Kelowna? I don't want to say hoes, but boats.
Yeah, that's what came to my head.
Yeah, I don't want to be a boat hoe, guys. I'm just trying to find a husband.
Like, something sad. Complete side note. When I was in Kelowna, there was like the dock where everyone would dock their boats and stuff, and like you would go on. And when I first moved there was like I was on a boat, and someone was like, "Oh, look at the stragglers," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "The stragglers, like the women who beg to get on a boat and don't, and they just wait at the dock. They're called the stragglers." And I'm like, I will never be a straggler. So don't be a straggler, people.
Nope, that's not our vibe.
Not in your life, and not on a boat.
Nope.
No.
No, we're the women that own the boats.
Yeah. We have the hose and the
Yeah,
boats.
yeah, we're the host on the
straight up.
boats.
I always say to myself too, like the problems we need is where do we park the yacht?
Outside my house. That's where.
Straight up at
Okay.
Hazel's house. You're right.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for having me again. And I'm going to see you again soon. But I really appreciate that. I didn't know I was your first guest. Why did I not know that? Well, I'm glad that I'm not your last.
No, we
Us
cycle
too.
through. Yeah, you'll be here back again for sure. Because we did just premiere the Summerverse, so 1 of 3 coming soon.
Yeah, it's a trilogy.
I'm so honored, to be honest. My friend actually said that to me the other day. She's like, "You're really cool." I'm like, "Am I?" I don't feel like it most days, to be honest. What does cool even mean? I don't even know.
I think that makes you like more cool though, because you're not like egotistical.
Yeah. I'd be like, yeah, I know.
I should be.
And then there's Hazel. No, I'm just kidding.
They're like, oh, you came last?
In the best
Still
way.
cool. And I'm like, I know. I'm so good. They couldn't understand it.
Yeah, they didn't get it.
They get it.
Like she's too overqualified. We can't.
Yeah, that's
what
happened.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks for joining us, Summer. We really appreciate it. This was super fun.
I wish I could do that.
Oh my God, guys.
Millennials.
I think I have carpal tunnel. I can't.
You know what it is? It's like a twist thing. It's this to this. You have to push your fingers.
That hurts.
It's weird.
That looks weird. It looks like a dinosaur.
That's what I said.
Look at those nails, though.
And on that
note, as Kristen would say, that's the pod.
That's the pod, guys. Have a great evening.
Guys. That's the pod beans.
Yeah.
See, catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.